Welcome to Positive Talk Daily. My name is Mr. Positive. We're on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Mr. Positive Live. On YouTube, make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified when we go live or do videos like this. Today on Positive Talk Daily, we're looking at the AT&T Prepaid Motivate Pro 5G. Now, we're going to be looking at two phones here. These are inexpensive, under $50 smartphones. This one was originally $100, okay, so not a bad deal. What we're getting here is a pretty decent look. We are getting a massive 6.75-inch display. We are getting a 50-megapixel camera. It's a triple camera setup, okay? So not all 50 megapixels, just one main camera that's 50. Up to 128 gigs of internal storage. We also have dual stereo speakers on here. We get fast charging, that's 15 watts, and that's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So that's built into the phone, that's non-removable. And has fingerprint and face unlock. So for 50 bucks, can't complain there. NFC supported on these phones. And you can also get Android 14. So not the latest Android, but it'll do the trick. It's a decent phone so far for 50 bucks. Now, the company that puts out these phones is unlicensed. I wouldn't say they're unlicensed, but they're a company that doesn't really put out their name, okay? Now, this brand of phones is basically licensing their phones to carriers like AT&T, Cricket Wireless, Boost Mobile. We see it with the T-Mobile Rebel series of phones. We also see it with Boost Mobile's Celora 5G smartphones that we see on Boost Mobile prepaid. Same thing on the Cricket Wireless with their branding, like the Icon 6 and those types of phones. This is no different. AT&T is licensing. Basically, AT&T is paying this company to put their branding on the back of these phones. It's a really solid deal for 50 bucks, and I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. Now, if you were walking into a Walmart, you see this, or you see someone walking around like this, you would think this is a more expensive. You would think this is a more expensive smartphone, and you would be wrong. This phone is no more than 50 bucks. It's got a decent camera layout. It is made of mostly plastic in the back, but it does have a design that looks a little bit more flashy than the normal phones you would find in this price range. You are getting that nice 6.75-inch display. It's a decent display overall. The brightness gets up to 400 nits of brightness, so it's not the fastest phone on the market, but it gets the job done. That 6.75-inch display is nice. It does get bright when you're outdoors, so you can see anything you need. Your notifications will pop up when you view it. If you're looking directly at the phone, it does give you the notification. So it's not an always-on display, but it has some functionality similar to that. You do get built-in NFC if you look closely. NFC is on this phone, so you can do paperless payments. So if you go to you go to Walmart or something, and you're buying something, or you're at the register and you want to make your payments, you can add your debit card on here through Android Pay or Google Pay, and you can pay using NFC and things like that. And it also has Wi-Fi calling built in, so if you're in a rough area with very bad cellular coverage, this phone here will give you Wi-Fi calling, so you can use your Wi-Fi router at home and just talk to them through Wi-Fi, basically. Kind of like text now. Basically, with this phone, you're getting a pretty solid display. It is 720p HD+, but it's a large 6.7-inch display, almost 6.8 inches, okay? It does have a fairly large chin on the bottom, but we won't complain about that. Looking around the phone, you've got a power button / fingerprint reader. You do have the volume up and down rocker. You do have a stereo speaker on the top, noise canceling microphone. Bottom, you get Type-C charging, which is 15 watts. No wireless charging on here. You do have a headphone jack and a stereo speaker and a noise canceling microphone on the bottom. Okay, we are getting stereo speakers on here. Decent enough. The viewing angles are really solid. This does run on AT&T Prepaid. And what I mean by the branding is you can see that AT&T puts its branding on here. These are phones that are relatively cheap. Now, what are your benefits with this type of phone? Okay, so this phone here is competing with devices like the Moto G series of phones, the Samsung Galaxy A series of smartphones. Now, this phone's not going to be for everybody. This thing is running a MediaTek 6100 chipset. So it's a MediaTek Dimensity 6100 chipset. So that doesn't mean you're going to get super fast speeds, but it does give you 5G. Okay, kind of entry-level 5G. Okay, you will have 6 gigs of RAM, so that is good for keeping background applications open. And you can game on this with medium settings, so playing Call of Duty Mobile, any heavy intensive game will be fine on this phone. Okay, it does give you a 90 hertz refresh rate, so that's pretty solid. And overall, the call quality so far has been pretty solid. Okay, looking around the back, you got a 50 megapixel main camera, you've got a 5 megapixel ultra wide, and you do get a micro camera, which is a 2 megapixel. Again, a lot of these phones try to put on like extra cameras, but a lot of them might as well just be duds. Okay, they might as well be dud cameras, because a 2 megapixel micro camera is trash. Okay, unless you're taking pictures of ants or whatever, there's no sense for a micro camera. Like, if you like micro photography, buy an iPhone. Buy a Pixel phone, buy a Samsung S25 Ultra. Putting them on these non-expensive devices doesn't make much sense. Just keep 2 cameras. Or add an ultra-wide, which they did. They added a 5 megapixels. So that does help with low light. This does record in 2K, 30 frames per second. No 4K here, but that's okay. I mean, that's not a big deal. It is a prepaid phone. Here are my gripes with this smartphone now. We'll get into the negatives of the phone so far. This phone will not see the day of Android 15 or 16. It may get security updates through AT&T and Google, but it won't see Android 15. It is stuck. Its entire life cycle will be stuck on Android 14, which is not a big deal. Android 14 is perfectly fine for those. Understand when you're buying this phone that when you buy this phone, it is stuck. This is one of those phones that you might update every year. These are phones that come out every year on prepaid carriers that you walk in. You're basically going to use this as kind of like an emergency phone, or maybe a phone you give to your kid or an elderly person, or maybe this could be a regular everyday phone, but you also get a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, so that's a plus, and it is pretty good, and it charges at 15 watts, so it does charge fast. But that's one of the gripes with the phone. You will be someone who will find this phone slowing down pretty fast, because even though it does have 6 gigs of RAM, because you're not getting updates from Android, this phone is going to start to get sluggish over the next year or so. And that's what happens with a lot of these phones that don't get updates, secured updates through Android. Then the phone becomes compromised over time, and it can become a security hazard, and your phone can get hacked. So it's really important to get a phone that does continue with security updates. So you may get a year of security updates, but the good news is from AT&T, and I will be honest with people here, you do get a 2-year warranty. You get a 2-year warranty, but there is no security updates beyond that. You get 1 year security updates, but you do get a 2-year warranty. So if something happens, a phone cracks, you have an automatic 2-year warranty. So keep this box for that 2-year warranty. Okay. Now it is a non-removable battery, so that means that, you just got to be careful what you do with the phone. It does have Gorilla Glass 3 on the front. It is made of plastic, and it looks like metal, but it is just plastic. Okay. It is a really nice phone. It feels nice and heavy in the hand. Doesn't feel like it's cheap though, and it's not a garbage phone. It's really a decent overall phone. AT&T did a really good job with this phone. I have nothing really bad to say about it. For $50, you're getting NFC, you're getting a 6.7-inch display. It's beautiful for watching YouTube videos, watching Netflix videos, things like that. It does give you a headphone jack, which a lot of companies are trying to do away with. And you do have a stereo headphone. You do get 15-watt fast charging, no wireless charging, but that's okay. This is for those who just need a phone. Maybe it's a burner phone. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those phones that you might just use, give it to a kid, stuff like that. It's not made to compete with, say, a Pixel device. Even though it looks like a Pixel phone, from what you see here, it doesn't have Pixel-type hardware in it. This is a MediaTek Dimensity 1600 chipset, which we've seen in the A15 5G. We've seen in phones like the TCL 50XL, which is still a decent phone. But, after a few years, like I said, because AT&T is not going to continue giving you software updates, you will be stuck with an outdated phone with outdated Android, which happens with a lot of Moto G series phones. But Moto G continues with security updates for well over 2 to 3 years. They don't. AT&T is just supporting this thing for a year, then you're stuck with what you got. Now, if you're okay with that and you don't mind your phone not getting the latest security updates and stuff, that can be a pain in the ass. And this is a big deal. That's why a lot of people don't buy these phones. This is a good phone, and this is a good deal if you're really hard up and you need something. It is fast, it's reliable, it does have a good chipset inside it, so it's not bad. And it's a 5G smartphone, but it will slow down over time because it just doesn't get, as soon as apps get larger and this doesn't have software updates to keep it running smoothly, you will notice that. Now, the 90 Hz refresh rate works really solid on this phone. The next one I'm going to show you, we have already done a review on it. Give me 1 second. The one we're looking at is another AT&T prepaid smartphone. This is the AT&T Verge. This is a 4G LTE device. This is more of an entry-level device that will compete with phones like the Moto G Play 2024 from last year. This phone gives you a 6.7-inch display, 720p HD+, so similar display to the one we just looked at. Pretty much the same display, same color, same size, same dimensions. You do get Type-C charging. It's only 10 watts. You do get a noise-canceling microphone. You do get stereo speakers, one on the bottom, one at the top. You have a headphone jack as well. You do get a fingerprint scanner here as well, fingerprint here, and then you get you do have a basically volume rocker. And then the camera is a 50 megapixel with a 2 megapixel micro camera. Again, another trashy camera. Front-facing camera is 8 megapixel. The front-facing camera on this one is a 13 megapixel. So that's a little bit of a step up from this one. Now, this phone here is only $39, so it's only $11 more for. It's only $11 less for this one than it is for the one that's 5G. Okay, so again, you're getting a MediaTek P35 or Helio P35 chipset. So MediaTek Helio P35 processor, which is capable of running pretty good battery life. This has a 5,000 mAh battery, and it's not that bad. It's actually got better battery life than the one we just looked at. Even though they're both 5,000 mAh battery, this one tends to last a little bit longer because it's not running 5G. There is some advantages to running 4G LTE over running 5G. This gives you Wi-Fi calling. It also has NFC. Again, same problem with this phone, though. You're going to be stuck with software updates that run out after 1 year. You may continue to get Android 14 updates, but you're going to get security updates. That's the biggest one. You can deal with software. Android 14 runs just fine. But it's the software, it's more the security updates that are really the security patches, just in case your phone gets hacked, something like that. Your phone crashes, you're in trouble. This is not a phone. Again, this one does come with a 2-year warranty as well from AT&T. So that's a good deal. But this phone here is stuck on 4G LTE. You're going to end up, you're running a slightly older processor, which is about 4 or 5 years old. It still runs fine for, basic use. You do get NFC on here. You do get NFC, so that is a positive right there. The phone runs just fine. You do get a 90 Hz refresh rate, so it's not bad. You do get, again, that 50 megapixel camera. It does take pretty good photos. We did test it out a little bit. The video recording on here does max out at 1080p at 30 frames per second. No 60, no 2K video recording here. It does max out. No 1080p 60. It's 1080p 30. The still photos look really good. The main camera, the selfie camera, did a pretty good job as well for just regular picture taking and stuff. Actually, the main camera, the selfie camera, I should say, is better than the one on the Moto G Play. So, not going to complain at all right there. Speakers are stereo, so it's decent. 10-watt fast charging. They call it fast charging. That's not fast charging. Overall, it's a solid phone. It is made of mostly plastic, but looking from far away, it kind of looks like an iPhone 16 Plus or 16. It does give you a decent screen-to-body ratio. There's a little chin at the bottom. Who cares? It's a $39 smartphone. $40 with some tax. You got yourself a decent phone. You have a 2-year warranty thanks to AT&T Prepaid. You can't really go wrong. For those who don't think I'm being the truthful there, 2-year warranty. Let's see here. 2-year warranty. Right there. 2-year warranty on all their AT&T phones. So any AT&T prepaid phone you buy, you do have a 2-year warranty. Plain and simple. It's a nice deal from AT&T. That's why I think it's a good deal. But just understand, when you buy something like this, you may be saying, well, it's not a Samsung. It's not a Galaxy phone. It's not it's not a Pixel device. But what you're getting here are two solid built phones. Yes, they're made of plastic. Yes, they both have NFC on board. You can do payments using the NFC on board. They both look good. They both have decent cameras. They both have decent viewing angles. They both have stereo speakers, headphone jacks. You really can't go wrong. These are solid phones from AT&T. Prepaid has done a really solid job with these devices. I get a pass. I give these to an A. They're decent phones. Yes, this one's a little slower, but it's good. It's kind of like any other phone. This is the Pro model. You'll get an update. These phones are pretty much identical as far as dimensions, cameras, and stuff. Outside of that, this one can record in 2K. This one can record in 1080p. Most people aren't even going to use 2K. So either one of these phones will do fine. Both have 5,000 mAh batteries. They're both large, and they both get 2-year warranties, which makes these phones definitely worth picking up. Now, again, the downside of these phones is the security patches from Google and AT&T. These phones come out every year, and they're not really secured after a year or so. So you're getting 1 year of security updates, no software updates. That's kind of what you're stuck on. When you buy this, that's what you have to take in mind. If you're someone out there who doesn't give a crap about Android updates, security patches, that's perfectly fine. You're probably and most people that are buying this phone are probably just buying these because they need something in a pinch. They probably need a cheap phone because, let's say you work a 9-to-5 job, you don't give two shits about a 4K camera. You don't give two shits about wireless charging or something like that, okay? Or MagSafe and all this, random garbage. Not saying that MagSafe's bad, not saying that wireless charging ain't good, but most people that are buying these types of phones aren't worried about, high brightness, fucking all-day battery life. You're going to get all-day battery life with this phone, maybe 2 days. But, people that are buying this are consumers who are on a budget. They might have kids. They might have a family. They don't have time to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a new smartphone every year. People that are buying this may be buying this for a year or two, couple years, 3 years, and then when they're done with it, they're going to go out and buy another one. Okay, it's pretty much what it is. You're still getting a 2-year warranty. That beats any phone right now that's on the market. You're not getting a 2-year warranty unless you asked at Walmart, checkout, or at Best Buy, or at Target. This is an automatic 2-year warranty. They don't have to ask you. You keep the box, 2-year warranty. It even tells you in the packaging. You get it. Stick with AT&T Prepaid. My name is Mr. Positive Live. If you have questions about these phones, just hit me up in the comments down below or send your email to my email.